All right. We talk about project management in earlier sessions, and how do you? I kind of envision the relationship with the factory or managing the factory as having three overlapping circles. You have the relationship, building in Chinese guanxi, that friendship. And then you have the contractual documentation, the paperwork. And then you have the monitoring to make sure that the relationship is okay, make sure that the contract, the written word, is being followed. So these are three overlapping tools that you need to have in place. And you can't just rely all on the relationship, just like you can't rely all on the monitoring or all on the systems or written word. You need all three of them. So yesterday we spoke a lot about how to structure the written agreement with the suppliers. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about how do you establish trust, how do you build that, the soft relationship, if you will. First, be more than a purchase order. If you think you can just place an order in Asia and then wait for it to show up, your supplier might have multiple customers. I had this situation happen. I had a really big order, and it was big for me, not big for the supplier, like $100,000 early in my career. I'm getting ready, and I've got a contract in place, and then the supplier calls me, Mike, I'm sorry, but we just got an order from Disney that's 3 times bigger than yours. I'm going to need to push your order out past Christmas. I miss Christmas. I'm out of business. So from that point on, I realized that I need to build a system where I can get visibility about what's happening in the factory, and also build a relationship so that supplier doesn't screw me like that just because I'm a purchase order number. I want them to see that I'm a friend and think twice before they scrap my lead times. So nowadays, I do things like my children are pen pals with my key suppliers. I invite the suppliers to come visit my front office in South China, even come and come visit Niagara Falls, where I'm from, near Canada. I do things like sending Christmas cards, little things that show them that, hey, I'm a good guy. I'm a friend. We're in this together, rather than just some purchase order number that there's no face behind it. It's also very important to align the interests, especially if you're a small buyer. You want that seller to realize that if they do right by you, there's more orders to come. It's not just a one-time transaction. The Australian market's not huge, but Australians pay on time, strong currency, it's a growing market. Many Australian brands are going international. It's more than just Australia. So you need to sell the supplier on why it's in their best interest to do things right with you. So that carrot and stick does really work. If you provide quality product at agreed price and agreed lead time, I can open the market and bring you 10,000 units next year. That works, the carrot and the stick, unless you can't deliver on your promises, then things fall apart. So be conservative in what you offer if you want to establish trust. It's not just trust, it's also establishing systems. Having some paperwork that defines what product you're ordering, that defines when do we have conference calls, when do we have updates. So as I mentioned earlier this morning, having a fixed schedule for updates. Every Wednesday, 3 o'clock Melbourne time, we call China, call India, whatever, and they're waiting for you. Even if that call is just to say, hey, everything okay? Yeah, everything's okay, great, talk to you next week. Oh, there is a problem? Okay, let's solve it now before it becomes something big and hurts us both. So in an earlier session, I talked about purchasing software that's very affordable to automate the project management system. You might say, okay, we're going to ship out on August 10th. Well, on August 3rd, we better book the container. Well, in the project management software that's online, we'll send you an alert to your email, say, hey, did you book that container? So a lot of this can be automated. If you're small, if you don't have $1,000 to spend on software, these are the basics that you need to put into a spreadsheet at least, and share that spreadsheet back and forth on some type of attachment with your customers. What's the task? What's the status? Who is responsible for it? It's not rocket science here, but if you're not managing this information, it's very dangerous to assume that the supplier is managing it for you. Okay, and I put these in Chinese so that if you happen to deal with a Taiwanese or Chinese supplier, you can cut and paste. So if you leave your business card there, I'll send this to you.